Well, if you had to guess which which of the Republicans he found to be a Russian asset first, who would you have said? I mean, clearly and definitively an asset of the Russian government. Who would you have said? Because I would have said Trump without a doubt. That would have been my guess. But no, it was Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan. This is an article by Ewan Palmer of Newsweek. Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan could face major repercussions over the Republican attempt to impeach Joe Biden after a former FBI informant charged with making false bribery claims against the president was accused of using Russian intelligence, legal experts suggest. Pause right there. Could face major repercussions. A legal expert suggests. Not a legal expert says will certainly happen. Not a person currently working for the FBI. Could, hypothetically, maybe, if we're feeling flirty. If somebody in this country sneezes in the direction of an officer while protesting for the right of Americans not be shot to death by police or in schools, they will get a savage beating and they'll be tossed in a cell, and they'll be charged as though they are rioters. But if you're a Republican and you sell out the country to the Russians, then a fancy Dan goes on in front of a fancy journalist, and as they are sipping from glasses that cost more than your car, they'll say, "Well, if the Justice Department was so inclined, they could hypothetically bring this in front of a barrister. Hypothetically. Maybe." Let's look at what he did. Alexander Smirnov, right on the nose, 43, is accused of making false statements to the FBI and creating a false and fictitious record in relation to claims that the president and his son, Hunter Biden, were paid $5 million each in bribes from Ukrainian energy company Burisma. In court filings on Tuesday, the Department of Justice said that Smirnov admitted during interviews that he had met with officials associated with Russian intelligence who were involved in passing a story about Hunter Biden. Just be very clear about that. Smirnov admitted that he met with officials associated with Russian intelligence who were involved in passing a story. In other words, here's something that will hurt the Americans. Go tell this to the Americans, because you've got some of the dumbest Americans hooked. They're a weakness of that country that we're going to exploit in order to make sure that chaos is caused, and hopefully we can get them to stop funding Ukraine so we can take it over by force, the imperialists. The highly disputed claims that Biden financially benefited from his son's foreign business dealings while he was vice president, including accusations of blah, 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 taking bribes, have been cited by House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jordan and other Republican figures in their impeachment proceedings. That guy right there. Quick fact about Jim Jordan, in case it hadn't been mentioned, your presence recently. In case you haven't mentioned it recently to others. That guy covered up for his wrestlers getting molested by the school doctor when he was a gym coach. It's why he's frequently called Jim Jordan, as in GYM. Yeah, that guy who covers up for diddlers That guy who called one of the wrestlers who was coming forward and wept on the phone, desperately trying to get him, the wrestler who was coming forward, to cover up Jordan's crimes and the doctor's crimes. That guy is who we're talking about. The allegations have been denied by the White House and Hunter Biden's lawyers. Obviously, they are made up. Let's jump to it. A number of legal experts and Democratic figures have now suggested Jordan and other Republicans could face consequences if it is found Russian intelligence was the source of the alleged false bribery claims that justified the Bidens. Of course, Jordan's office has been contacted for comment via email. Tristan Snell, a lawyer and former assistant attorney general for New York State, claimed on X, formerly Twitter, Jim Jordan, Chuck Grassley, and James Comer were either duped by Smirnov and the Kremlin or they were in on it. Either way, DOJ must subpoena every single communication Jordan, Grassley, and Comer had with or about Smirnov and anything related. Wasn't supposed to be a what you can't do, but oh, it's gonna be. Don't let this go. How often have I talked about what a cover-up looks like in the United States of America? How often? Quite frequently. Go over it again. They don't lie, they wait. They choose not to investigate so they don't have to lie. But they always wait. This story just came out. Merrick Garland's going to try his best to just not respond to it. Then, what I'm going to do when I upload this VOD, I'm going to put the contact for the Department of Justice in the description. I'm going to ask you to contact them en masse and say, you must subpoena all communications from these 3 traitors. Then Merrick Garland will come out and he will give a press conference. He will say, we're thinking about it. He'll use a lot of words on a Friday afternoon, late, to say, we're thinking about it. And then, if no other messages come in, several months later, he will release a 2-sentence, 1-paragraph press release saying he could find no reason to subpoena these communications. So what you must do is contact him. Then contact him again. Anything he says he's doing, say, that's not good enough, do more. Whip this horse. Tell it to move hoof. Merrick Garland is an embarrassment of an attorney general. But good news, he is a coward. Means he can be pressured. Pressure him. Contact information for Merrick Garland and the entire Department of Justice will be in the email. According to some fancy Dan, the DOJ could look into this. Ensure that they do.